Surprise! It's the Myles B Show takeover of the Alex B podcast. Or maybe it's the first episode of the Myles B Show. I don't really know what to call it, but we know that Myles B is in the house. Alex B is in the house. What's up, Alex?
I feel honored to be your first guest. I'm beside myself. Plus, the video thing is cool because I've always wanted to do video, but I'm like, man, let somebody else put the fucking work in. Like, let my dude who's got experience doing this, and I'm here. I'll tag along. I got you.
I've definitely put the work in, man. It's been like 4 weeks. It feels like 8-hour days. My wife, my kids, they're tired of me being over here in the corner working on video, working on production, man. So before we get started, 2 weeks away from what should be a national holiday. It was the beginning of the B Brothers, October 31st, 2006, correct?
Yes, 2006. I remember it like... I think everybody knows, but I always like retelling the story again, so in case anybody listens like Lenny, we can just get a laugh about it. Myles was doing a this rock showcase. I don't know what the fuck it was.
It was a Halloween show.
It was a Halloween show, and it was at Birdie's up there, up Keystone. And before I left that day, I was doing afternoon drive on X103. Now it's called whatever the fuck it's called. And I remember. Boss Lenny, I used to call him, would always come by, the studio before he'd leave and say, hey, man, I'll catch you later, da-da-da. Well, that day, he walked out, didn't say bye. And I look on his security cameras, and, he's just walking to his car. I'm like, that's kind of odd. And then don't hear nothing. Then I get this text message, be in my office tomorrow at 9 a.m. I'm like, that's odd. He didn't say bye. He didn't say, like, nothing. So I'm like, So, dude, I'm telling you, I've just got this premonition when bad shit's going to happen. And I went to go do the Myles show, and, we did a little partying, and I remember I was like, not only was I fucking knocked off my gourd, but I also said, dude, I think I'm getting fired. And I remember telling you, dude, keep half the talent money. I want to go home because I've got to make a plan. And I called Bill Ramika from Fox 59, close friend of mine who's done Fox Traffic. He's filled in on Q95. I talked to him. Another buddy of mine, Kevin Spencer, who used to work for Metro Travis. All my peeps in the industry. Like, oh man, that can't be happening. That can't be happening. Sure enough, I walk in the next day, man. They treated me like a fucking radio station prize winner. I couldn't go back or nothing. Like, hold on, we'll be right with you. And I walked past the sales pit, and not one motherfucker said anything to me. I said, I already knew what was going. Like, I already knew. It was like the walk of shame. I walk in the studio, Stuck and Gunner in there. I'm like, hey, what's going on, guys? I go, I think I'm about to get fired. And Stuck's like, no, you're not. And Gunner's like, no, nah, they wouldn't do that. I go, dude, I'm telling you. He goes, well. Maybe I think Nikki's going too, but and then literally Lenny opens up the door and says, hey, you want to come run this way? And I kind of joke with him. I said, do you want to do it in the hallway here? Like let's cut to the chase or whatever.
Secretly hoping you were still wrong.
Yeah. I was kind of hoping there would have been that small little glimmer, that maybe I could have fucking hung off Griswold's nuts like Gunner does. And none of that could have happened. So then I know. Oh, bad.
Oh,
bad.
Womp.
I know. Don't edit that out either. So we go to the office, and Scott Jameson, who was like he was the PD or whatever. So we're going back and forth. He's giving me a whole spiel. Like a bunch of people it wasn't just me. It was a bunch of people got let go. It was a big clear cost cutting thing. And I remember they do the exit interviews as company does. And I found out that Joey, may he rest in peace, Joey Deuce Agan, was getting my shift. And I remember Scott Jameson said, like, right before I walked out, and Marty Bender came in there, was like, I was cool. I was like, hey, I'm going to get a little severance money. It's cool. I get it. This is the business. I'm not going to, whatever. And I remember Scott Jameson saying, well, do you have anything you want to say? Anything you want to add on your exit interview? I said, yeah. I just wish you guys would offer me the less money that you're going to give Joey. If this was truly a budget cut. No, seriously, if this is truly a budget cut, like some CEOs get, why wouldn't you guys offer it to me and say, hey, we're going to pay you XYZ dollars because there's budget cuts. But to not consider me for doing that, I knew it was deeper than that. So, and then you and I became, partners, but not in a that kind of partner.
Completely platonic. Although,
but it is business.
There was enough alcohol at times where who knows what the hell might have happened during our time.
We're doing
25-cent you call it at Peppers.
Yeah, 25-cent anything. All drinks 25 cents. That was Drunk Fest. You were doing your fan stuff still. It was cool. We did Peppers, and it's just it was we were just saying this before we went on the started showing that we can talk for like not 5 years and pick up where we left off. And there's very few people that I think any of us could do that with. And I appreciate that I have you like that, because there's people, man, I've done a lot of shit
Word.
for, man. And all of a sudden they get like amnesia when it comes to owing you money or it comes to doing whatever. And it's just like, oh, damn, motherfucker, really? Oh, how you been? I don't know, $100 short since I loaned it to you like 10 years ago, shit like that. But what are you going to do?
Yeah, people are shit, man. But 16 years of the B brothers, that's awesome.
Yes, sir.
So speaking of gaps of years, do you see this shit with the Cincinnati Reds and BetMGM?
Yeah, here's what I saw that. And I think much like the weed smokers that are getting released from prison, because of, the non-big criminal offenses, I think, and hopefully you agree, should Pete Rose be instated into the Hall of Fame?
Oh, 100%. And I've said this for years, even before sports gambling was legal. And now that it is, and we're talking about having sports gambling places in
the facilities.
In the facility.
Yeah.
It's time to put this dog to rest. I mean, he should be in the Hall of Fame, but let's at least reinstate him into baseball. Let him be a part of it again. There's absolutely no reason to continue to hold this grudge against Pete Rose. He was one of the greats of all time. And the only thing he did was get caught doing what everybody else was doing.
Exactly. He just got caught. And if MGM was smart, they would pick him up as a spokesperson.
Oh, yeah, man.
They would get
rid
of...
Can you imagine the pop on that?
Dude, the pop on it, because I think they got Jamie Foxx or somebody doing it now. But if MGM picked him up, and I think FanDuel's got McAfee. I don't know who DraftKings has, but could you imagine if MGM picked him up and his commercials would be running inside that fucking stadium?
Oh, that place would go batshit crazy.
People go batshit crazy, and I think, again, much like the weed smokers that are going to get released because now the pot's been decriminalized on a bigger level, I think he should be in the Hall of Fame. He should, like you said, at least be reinstated into baseball.
What a slap in the face, though, and not just to Pete. I mean, let's take Pete out of this and let's talk about Reds fans in general. First of all, I know a lot of Reds fans, and they are loyal to their team, despite the fact that it has been a very long time since it's been a team worth being loyal to. And that whole entire fan base, they still absolutely adore Pete Rose, and they should.
Absolutely.
They don't give a shit whether he gambled. It's not like he was throwing games or anything.
No.
He just put a bet on a game he was playing in. It is what it is. These fans still love him, and I think if they go through with this and don't reinstate him, man, I wouldn't want to be in that PR room. That's going to be kind of ugly, to be honest.
No, if I worked marketing for MGM, I would pick him up as a fucking spokesman with the quickness, because that would be gold. It would be gold. Like literally, you could not think of a better way to be literally on every news wire if Pete Rose becomes your fucking spokesman for baseball. Legal, of course, legal.
Yeah.
Baseball sports betting.
I say make him the fucking commissioner.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Can you imagine that? That would
he deserves it.
That would be so much drama across the board.
He deserves it, though, man. Like I said,
Anybody
I showed you a meme.
Deserves it.
Yeah, I mean, like y'all fucked him over, and now, oh yeah, by the way, don't worry about what happened 20 years ago. Even though you guys pretty much shamed him. Oh, now, yeah, it's legal. Come on in and bet, and you could even come inside the baseball stadium and bet. It's really jacked up.
What if one of the bets is whether or not the MLB reinstates Pete Rose?
It will be. That's going to be on a line somewhere. I'm going to have to when I go to work tomorrow, I'm going to ask guys at FanDuel, say, man, what's the chance that Pete Rose is going to get back? There's got to be some kind of over under on that. I guess I don't know.
Got to be running some numbers on that for sure.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, if they could bet on ostrich racing, they would. People would bet on anything they could try to make a buck at. That's what people do.
Speaking of running the numbers, old Bobby Boy Kraft.
Dude, 30 years. His wife is 30 years younger than him. She's
30 years.
30
years younger than him.
30 years younger than him. And I was reading some articles on courtesy of Page 6. Fucking when he went and saw Elton John, I guess like a couple weeks before, and Elton John played at his wedding. Elton John literally told Bob Kraft, as my gift to you, I want to play at your wedding. Now, that's how you know you're a fucking baller. If Elton John offers himself to play at your wedding. That's baller to unspeakable level.
I mean, they had to pay him to play Diana's funeral. So
yeah, exactly.
I mean, he's offering to do the Kraft wedding, man.
Dude, yeah. And 30 she's 30 years though, younger. Man. I want to see that prenup.
Right? No, you don't.
Dude, that prenup's going to be something fierce. But they said that Brady showed up at the wedding by himself, of course.
Of course.
of course, because everything's going on with them, and then I sent you some links, but you can bring up that his temper's getting a little bit out of control.
He's having some hissy fits. I mean,
he is, man.
He's
he is.
always
and now,
been
they're catching
notorious
it.
for it.
But now they're catching it because now these guys are all mic'd up. Now what are you going to do?
Well, here's the thing, though, and far be it for me to ever defend Tom Brady. I fucking hate him. I've come to the point where I'm willing to admit that he is the GOAT.
I mean, he is.
It's stupid, but he is. I'll admit it.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm gonna defend Tom Brady a little bit here on this sideline rant. I mean, he's getting his ass kicked by the Steelers, who, they're not a bad football team, but they're not a good football team, and shouldn't be in the same breath with the Bucks. And he's just getting his ass kicked. And he got in his lineman's face and said, "Fucking block." I don't need to remind Indianapolis Colts fans about Peyton Manning going off on Jeff Saturday on camera.
Oh yeah, yep. And he even admitted he did. He even said there was cameras on him. He knew.
Oh, dude, if I call pass plays, fucking block, or whatever it was he said. I mean, it's as notorious as the playoff sound bit from Mora. So it's been going on since the beginning of time. So I'm not mad at Brady for that. As a matter of fact, I'm going to give him props for grabbing those big asses by the face mask and say, "Do your fucking job." Matt Ryan needs to do that.
Yeah. Matt Ryan doesn't have the stones like that Brady has. And not only that,
it's a different type of leadership, though.
Yeah, if you take the personal side of it, man, that dude, his fucking shit's underneath the microscope. Everybody and their mother, and then you got the homeboy that fucking showed that picture. Antonio Brown, showed that picture from Super Bowl that really had nothing to do with nothing, but just wanted to hit the hornet's nest with him. So you got all that pressure. Your old lady ain't showing up to fucking games. I mean, all your stuff's out there because, again, we're in that voyeuristic society that, TMZ, everybody is on your shit. And then you're supposed to go out there and play football.
Right.
It sucks, man. It really does suck to be him.
He's an emotional guy anyway, man.
Yeah.
Like I at this point, if it's anybody else but Tom Brady, I'm going to applaud the guy for using that emotion to lead his team into battle.
For sure.
As long as it's not impacting his play or he's not trying to pass the buck. But he's 42 years old and running for his life right now. And he shouldn't be. He can't be. That team, just like the Colts, can't succeed without protection for Tom Brady. He's a statue.
Yeah. This isn't Chicago Bulls where you can throw everything on Jordan. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's just not set up that way.
It's more like the Washington Wizards trying to throw everything on Jordan.
Exactly. I feel sorry for the guy, man, because and I ain't mad. I'm like you said, you got to get these guys together. Somebody's got to do it. Your coaches are going to do it. So we've all seen Peyton pop off. I mean, I think that's what has to happen sometimes. And maybe, and the thing is, he's not going to get punished.
No,
I mean, he's not going to get punished. It's not like the fucking
he's doing
the coach.
his job.
He's doing his job, and he's trying to get these guys together because, again, I think a quote was, "I didn't come here to lose." And still, like he's just like, nope.
No,
Tom
Brady never went anywhere to lose, man.
Yeah. Did they win? I don't even know the final score. Did they lose?
You know what? I didn't check the final score. I'm not gonna lie. After the Colts game, I was tapped out. And I know we'll talk about that here in a few minutes.
Oh my God! 18-20.
Oh
18-20. Yeah, 18-20 Steelers. They lost.
Wow, so, the Steelers beat. Oh my goodness, yeah.
The Steelers are 2-4. The Buccaneers are now 3-3, and they beat them by 2.
That's
ouch.
That's insane, man.
Yeah. Oof. Yeah, wow. I just pulled that up on. Yeah, dude. Wow. 2 points, man. 2 points. Sounds kind of familiar, doesn't it?
It does.
Kind of sounds like I don't know, maybe some Colts. I watched stuff? Your social media.
All right.
Are we going to talk about this? I know you guys are still upset in Indy because Starbucks is closing on the Circle, but I'm going to defend. I'm going to defend this to this. I don't know what the fascination is with Starbucks. It's coffee, whatever. But Starbucks is saying what everybody else is thinking. It's not safe. It just isn't. It just isn't. And they're actually stating the real reason why they're pulling out. They're not trying to use some other bullshit excuse. There's some people going, "Oh, they're trying to unionize." No, I don't know if I haven't been to Indy in a while. I do plan on coming up there, and the Circle is not the Circle that you and I remember. None of that is. And they are basically saying what everybody else is thinking and every other business owner is thinking. But if you have nowhere to go, you're going to try to keep your shop open. If you don't have franchise money behind you, like a CVS or something like that, and you have nowhere to move your business to, guess what? You're not going to speak up. Starbucks got the money. They're like, fuck you, we're out of here. It's dangerous. Do you agree? It's that bad?
I mean, I got out of the city for a reason, man. I mean, I lived in Indy the whole time you knew me until a little over a year and a half ago. And it's a shame, man, because it is such a cool town, dude. It always has been. But, like, over the last 5 years, it has just progressively gotten worse and worse and more dangerous.
Yeah.
You know, you couldn't go. And I lived near Meridian Kessler, where all the rich and famous are. You know, and every night, multiple gunshots, multiple sirens.
Crazy, man.
It was kind of scary, especially having 3 kids. It was really important to get out of there as quickly as we could, to be honest with you.
Smart move. Yeah, but I mean, when that's like every headline I'm reading it out here, like, oh my God, Starbucks is closing. I'm like, give me you know, y'all have far more worse problems in the city. And again, I love Indy, I love St. Louis too. From a distance, you know, you see the night pictures, and when there's not stuff going on, when there's a ball game downtown St. Louis and Busch Stadium's lit up and Ballpark Village, man, it's unique and it's amazing. Yeah. But then, man, go there on a Saturday night when there ain't no game, and go by Keener Plaza and go by Union Station and and it's a different world, man. Just like Indy, same thing.
It really
you know,
is.
when they have, you know, ball games, you know, Pacer games, everything's lit up and you got all this, you know, fanfare. It looks cool when they're doing, like, you know, helicopter shots or blimp shots. You take a professional sporting event out of that and just go there on a regular Saturday night. It's different.
It's completely different. It's scary different.
Yeah. I don't know.
It's like Gotham City different.
It really does kind of remind you that you just want to walk in an alley because you're afraid the Joker's going to come up and shoot your parents. You know,
right?
I hope they turn it around, because like I said, I love St. Louis too. I mean, I lived out here 2 other times before. I do love the city, but I don't like what it's turned into.
For real.
You know, and it all goes with the leadership. But hopefully you guys will survive without a Starbucks on the circle.
Yeah, we'll make it. There's probably one 5 feet away. So before we get into the Colts segment, I just want to remind everybody that's watching and listening, if you're listening, you can check out the video, the Myles B Show on Twitch and YouTube. It should be up very soon. If it's not, by the time you hear this on Alex's show, I should have it up too. Or if you're listening, or if you're watching and you want to hear the audio, check out the Alex B podcast on Apple, Spotify, everywhere.
No, Spotify booted me.
Oh, Spotify booted you?
Yeah, here's the thing. It's like, I don't know. I won't get into it was just really weird, because I think it has to go with the labels of the music and everything. But you got Apple, who is the number 1 provider that's still distributing the podcast. You have Google, that's number 2. And a lot of people do go to Spotify or whatever. But I mean, it's on a bunch of fucking platforms. But for some reason, they're like, hey, you know, somebody from one of these labels is saying this. I'm like, okay, fine. You know, I don't care. You know, when I started this podcast, it was basically to keep me from going stir crazy when in 2020, and then and it just decided to keep going on or whatever, because everybody knows I love to talk. Sometimes I like to crack a joke, and my only goal was not to make money on it, because I pay for all of it myself, much like you're doing with yours. And it was just basically, you know, to share some insight, maybe try to get a laugh, maybe to try to get you to have a different opinion on something, and then go about your day.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but Spotify, absolutely. They booted me. I have not been on Spotify. It was like a couple months. It's been a while. They're like, hey, you know, if you want to dispute this, and I'm like, dispute this? Why not, man? It's like it's on Apple getting distributed. It's distributed on Google. When you type in the Alex B podcast on Google on the first 5 matches, I'm like, fuck you, go ahead. I don't care. Whatever.
Fine, you're good. Well, then I digress. If you're listening and you want to watch, twitch.tv and YouTube, the Myles B Show. That's Myles with a Y. If you're listening, Apple or Google, iTunes or Google, the Alex B podcast.
Yes, sir.
So I am actually going to hand the reins over of hosting the Colts Wrap Up to you, because A, we know that you don't know shit about football.
Nope.
And B,
not the way you do.
In St. Louis, you're not watching the game anyway, unless you're pirating it or you have the NFL package, which see number 1 about you not knowing shit about football.
But I
highly doubt you're spending $500 a year for that package.
No, I could pirate. Do you got to remember? I could fucking work at a sports book. I'll go right 20 minutes to work and watch anything I want to watch. But no, you're right.
That's a good point.
I don't know it to the degree that you do, for sure. I'll definitely own up that or whatever. But I think some of the dirt that I have kind of makes up for that a little bit.
That's without a doubt.
Just a skosh. What happened today? At the last minute, there was a rally, because, I jump on the social media, I watch a little bit of your rants, and then I see, I guess, fourth quarter turnaround.
Glass case of emotion.
You were praising the coach?
I'm not going to say fourth quarter turnaround. The first quarter and we'll say 10 minutes of the second quarter, it was same shit, different pot.
Ugh.
Huge running plays for Jacksonville. A couple defensive stops here and there. The offense sputtering, punting, no turnovers or anything like that. And the good news is even during that first quarter and a half or so, the offensive line was protecting Matt Ryan okay.
Mm-hmm.
It just things weren't coming together and fuck yeah, field goals. The whole Miami Dolphins thing from a few years ago seemed to 110 fucking minutes without a touchdown is actually what it came down to.
Yeah, I think I saw an actual. I think that was actually one of your status updates.
Yeah, it definitely was. And then there was like 2 or 3 minutes, maybe 4 minutes left to go in the second quarter, and something just clicked. It looked good too, and so we end up going into the half down one.
Mm-hmm.
Jacksonville comes out. They get a penalty call. It was not a great penalty, but I mean, hey, whatever. It is what it is. And they end up ultimately going down and scoring again. And it was like, oh man, here we go. Well, then the
Mm-hmm.
Colts respond. They come back down and they score again. They go for two. Pittman almost had the catch. They reviewed it. They said it was not a 2-point conversion. 21-19. We can sit here and recount the game. That's not really what we do here.
Nope.
But what I will say, the play of the game, and the reason for my status that I put at the end of the day, giving the staff props here, is we had, Matt Ryan had tripped on a previous second down play. We were in field goal position. At that point you're down by 2.
Mm-hmm.
So a field goal wins the game. There was like 30 or 40 seconds left in the game. You're really just running the ball to make sure that you don't turn it over and you can put it where you need to. Well, then Matt Ryan trips on the handoff. Ends up being a 4-yard loss. It still technically was in McLaughlin's field goal range, but you get in those mid to upper 50s, and I don't care who the kicker is. It's definitely not a sure thing.
Right.
So the smart call, not the smart call, the call by the book, which is what Frank usually goes to, would have been a draw or some kind of a shotgun run, just to center the ball and try to pick up a yard or two. They run a play action fake and run the rookie Alex Pierce on a fly route down the right side. And Ryan made a really good throw, but Alec Pierce made an even better catch, stayed on his feet, and then walked into the end zone. That call, the balls that it took to make that call. And here's the thing: if he misses that pass, I don't think I'm even looking back going, "Oh, we shouldn't have thrown there," because realistically, you're just, as long as you don't throw an interception, which Ryan put the ball where only Alec Pierce could get it. As long as you're not throwing an interception, you still have the field goal from that spot. It's third down.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't hate that call at all. Even if it didn't work, I don't hate that call. But I absolutely love that call. And seeing Alec Pierce over these last 2 or 3 weeks really start to get comfortable in his role. He's got a long way to go. But man, I tell you what, it is really exciting to have him and Michael Pittman, who had a career day today, career highs in receptions and receiving yards. Jelani Woods, the tight end, even Granderson had a couple of big catches after that scary fumble situation he had. The youth looks good. I still think we should have brought in a veteran wide receiver. But the deck is what the deck is right now. As long as everybody stays healthy. Paris Campbell had a big day, and it's good to see what he can do when he's healthy. The defense was bend, don't break. They had 4 sacks. But the absolute stat of the day was after 5 weeks, Matt Ryan had been sacked 21 times. That's over 4 a game. 0 this game. He still got pressured. He still got hit. Made a couple of really crackerjack throws while getting hit. But aside from that trip, no fumbles from Matt, no sacks on Matt. The offensive line, still needs help in run blocking, but in pass blocking, it was like a whole new world with this lineup that Frank put out, this 3rd or 4th iteration now of the line where he shuffled people around. We may have found the magic ticket because Matt had time, and you see what Matt Ryan did with time. He threw for almost 400 yards and 3 touchdowns.
So does your opinion still stay the same last week? Because last week you were heated.
Mm-hmm.
You still think administratively there's still things that need to change, or are you going to kind of ride the season out and see what happens because we play Tennessee next. That'll be the second time.
Yeah.
If they beat Tennessee, do you think maybe the pendulum has shifted and we could be doing something in the right direction because of this line shuffle?
That's really hard for me to answer, and I'll tell you why. Because even let's say this team turns it around and wins the Super Bowl, I still don't believe that Frank Reich is the guy. I don't. I don't like his play calling. It was much, much better this game. But and maybe it's just a matter of the poor guy's had 5 quarterbacks in 5 years.
Yeah, man. It's like it's been very tumultuous.
Fault. Right. You know, but like, I don't know. But today, Frank coached maybe one of the best games I've seen him coach in his time here at the Colts. He punted on what would have been a normal go for it situation early in the game.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he made some really wise decisions. So, you know, it's kind of a 50-50 split for me after this week. And this is just 1 week too. The worst thing that can happen for a fan in a week like this is to get too comfortable and go, oh, you know, now we've won a couple games, you know, in a row, or
we're only behind Titans by like what one? Yeah, I mean, just because of that tie, we're in second place.
We have the lead on the AFC South now. Actually, what do you have the result of the Titans game? I hadn't looked at it.
Result. Let me look at the Titans game. Let me just pick that up, shall we? Where's the Titans game? Let's look that up, shall we?
Let's
look it up. They played what this afternoon, didn't they? I'm thinking.
I think so.
Let's see. Ooh, 21-17.
They win or lose?
They won.
Okay, so we are.
So they're 3-2. Washington Commanders, man, 1-4. Ugh.
Yeah, oof. That's. Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's rough. Man, are we glad we don't have Carson Wentz?
Yeah. Oof. Could you imagine that? You'd be a hell of a lot more. You probably have to get on some kind of psych meds if we still had him and we had a record of 1-4 going into this next week. Yeah. So yeah, Titans are now 3-2, 21-17 the final.
Okay, excellent. So technically we're in first place then, because 3-2-1. Well, no, wouldn't that make the Titans 4-2?
We're in second place. Titans are in first. Yeah, Titans are in first according to NFL.com.
Okay, yeah.
Yep.
We're a half game behind them because of the tie.
Right.
So that makes next game, and that's crazy to basically be done with the division in the middle of October. You know, next week's game becomes yet another must-win, very important game. We now have a win in the division, which is great. But other than that, we're 0-2-1. So, you know, it's crucial. You have to win. You know, it might even determine this win or loss could be reflected at the end of the season as to whether the Colts make the playoffs or not.
And as long as we don't lose against Washington on the 30th, that'll be fine, because that'll be the most fucked up Halloween you would have. October 30th, the day before Halloween, and you lose against the Washington Commanders. But stranger things have happened. We beat Kansas City. Nobody thought you know what I mean? It's one of those things where you think, you know, odds makers and everybody else alike are like, and then something like this happens, and they flip the script, and they're like, wait a minute. And then Patriots on November 6th. So it's like...
Yeah, there's some big games coming up, man. You know, but the most important ones are the ones in the AFC South right now.
Tennessee's next.
And
are they playing? I'm trying to say, are they playing? Where are they playing? I think they're playing. Oh, they're playing in Tennessee.
Yes, it's in Tennessee.
Won't be in that controlled dome environment, that controlled temperatures and everything else.
Could be interesting. Could be real interesting. Although the roof's been open every home game so far.
Right. Which is really weird. I mean, you paid all that money and half the time. Peyton didn't like having it open. And I can tell you that because he did not like it and I already told you about the extra lights they had put in the end zone because when he threw to Marvin, he wanted that shit to be lit up. And I don't think people understand how much, I always talk about this, how much influence the sheriff had on those kind of things. And he's like,
if they don't, then they haven't been around very long, man. That dude called all of the shots.
He called a lot more shots than anybody in that staff will admit. And, you know, I think it's for the better you know, some were obviously maybe some selfish moves, but I think it was in for the betterment of getting a team where it's supposed to go, especially when Napoleon was involved. But Tennessee, what do you think? What do you see there? What do you see if you had to just...
If I'm going off of what I saw today, it's good. I mean, the one I'd say, because Tennessee they have their own list of issues as well. It probably, I would say, very similar to today. Goes down to the wire. Colts win. We'll make it real close. Let's say 28-27.
Mm-hmm. If they win, do you think we're on the upswing?
The beginning of it, yeah.
Okay.
I'd say we're even on the beginning of the upswing right now. I mean, that's Denver on Thursday night a week and a half ago, and then as ugly as a win as that was, a W's a W, and then a much better quality football game. If they can put 60 minutes of football together and not get down by 2 scores at the beginning of the game, they could run away with it.
I think that would be good. I think it'd be good for the city. I think that's because we got Pacers coming up. I mean, that's there's. Don't even get me started.
Yeah, let's not even breach that subject yet.
Because you already know where I'm going to go with it. Okay, all that money y'all don't put into that, rehabbing a facility. It's time to bring home a trophy.
Yep,
and not from the women's team either. It's time to bring home a championship. It ain't going to be
this year, man. This is a tanking year. Year. Oh yeah.
Ugh.
I mean, they could surprise some people and do something stupid, but I'd rather see them win 20 games and get one more good pick, and then I think we're set.
Yeah. So that's your prediction. So you're saying it'll be a close game, possibly Tennessee.
Yeah. I think it's going to be another good
format
game.
Better I like this format better. We do the video because then you could do all the work with editing everything and then send me a file. I think I like that better. Takes a little pressure off me, and it makes it it adds some quality to stuff. So
my invoice is in the mail.
But I will be in town. And I won't say when because I don't want the world knowing, but I'll send you a DM on that.
You're afraid your fans are going to rush you?
No, I just don't. Certain people I don't want to see.
All 2 of them?
Yeah, certain people I don't want to see. So I'll slide into your DMs and tell you I'm going to be in town.
Hey, everybody. Follow the Myles B Show on Twitter to know exactly where Alex B is when he's in town.
Myles is going to fucking put one of them fucking GPS things on me with a map with a little red dot and say, there he is. No, believe it or not, and the reason why I'm going to be in town is because I have to officiate a wedding. I have to officiate a wedding. Did you know that? I have to marry some folks. This will be my second wedding.
What are they thinking?
Well, let's see. I don't know. I kind of asked myself the same question too, but this will be the second wedding that I've officiated because I did go online and became a minister, kind of like Rev Run, I guess, but I'm white. And yeah, I'm going to be performing the ceremony, the nuptials,
That's
if
insane.
you will. I know.
The nups.
I could have did your wedding. Could have did yours. Could have married you. Just saying.
It was COVID time, and for that to happen, you would have actually had to let me know you were in town.
Ooh.
I'm just saying.
We played tug of war with this for I don't know how many, but this time he's going to know.
Yes.
And then he will know that's coming up. And then I think they're going to be live streaming the wedding. So I'm thinking I'm going to see if I can get a link to that and post it because when it comes time to clean it up and shave it and cutting the gray hair, I put on a decent.
You clean up nice. I've seen it.
Yeah. Your audio don't cut out.
You got coming up on that Alex B podcast, man?
We are going to do Cruise the News. You already know what I do. I call it reality is ridiculousness. I'm going to be talking about so much stuff, and I'm just going to give you a quick rundown. Okay? Biden says the U.S. economy is strong as hell. No. Biden out here lying on folks. And listen to this.
You can't even walk up steps.
You can't even. Listen to this, man. These guys, Russia was drafting pretty much anybody to get in the army, right? To go fight against Ukraine. So these guys were in training, to use weapons and stuff, and they turned them on the instructors, man, and mowed down a bunch of people in Russia. True story. Turned on their people on their own soil. And basically, because everybody's fed up with it. Like my dad and I were talking about it today, man. I think people underestimate it, but I try not to get too serious on it because people want to get us for laughs. And then South Carolina man steals cremated remains of ex's mom to sell for heroin.
I have so many questions. I can't wait. I have to tune into this podcast.
Yes, one more. Wait till you hear this. You remember the preacher Jerry Falwell?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. He got basically thrown out of the church or whatever. There's a book out. Pool boy recalls having sex with Jerry Falwell's wife as he watched. Yeah, man.
What?
Mind blown. That's going to be on the podcast. He's got a book coming out, and I guess they were hooking up or whatever, and Yeah, he said, by the way, I kind of want a front row seat, and there he was. So we're going to talk about that and a lot more. So definitely tune in. That'll be out sometime Monday morning, Monday afternoon, whenever. But yeah,
Absolutely insane. Well, right on, man. Well, thanks to my guest, or I guess I'm his guest, or fuck, I don't know anymore who's guest. But thanks for coming on.
What do
and
they call?
hanging
What
with
do they
me.
call inclusive? We're inclusive guests, inclusive hosts. How about that?
Inclusive
That's a
guest,
popular
inclusive
term now.
host. This has been what the fuck? This has been the Myles B Show Takeover. Again, check us out. If you're listening, you can watch us on Twitch and YouTube, the Myles B Show. If you're watching, you can listen the Alex B Podcast. Y'all take care, and we will see you next time.